Hey, it's Isom Howard, and it is time to play some games. I'm back with some more Pokemon Go PvP, and we are going to be looking at my first Jungle Cup tournament today. So, I am doing another Jungle Cup tournament this month, and that video will be going up sometime next week if you're watching this near the release of this video. So this was a tournament that was in Rexburg, which is a neighboring city. We did not host this tournament in my main city, but I decided to travel, and it was a great experience, great opportunity, and it was a 5-round tournament with 20 people, and so let's jump into my 5 rounds. This first round we're going to be using Vigoroth, Fortress, and Venusaur, a relatively safe combination in my opinion for my team. And we're going to be going up against Cloud Striker 17. So we both send out Vigoroth. And this is a very neutral matchup, I guess, because it's a mirror, obviously. But I decided to hold off on Body Slams just to see what she would do. And I decided to shield because I didn't want to take this Body Slam to the face. And it's a Brick Break, which would have hurt. And so I decided, okay, let's use a couple Body Slams. I probably have enough energy to get off 2 of them here. I don't, but I have enough energy to get to a second one very quickly. So we burn that first shield with Body Slam, burn the second shield with Body Slam, and we are in a great position. So then she decides to switch out into Golem, Alolan Golem, and then I decide, okay, Body Slam's not going to be very effective, but I'm still going to use it anyway. Even though most of the damage I'm getting off is due to these counters. But then Vigoroth goes down. I decide to go in with Venusaur because we get that super effective damage with Vine Whip, and I should be able to feint it with just a Vine Whip. With just Vine Whips, I decide to take this Wild Charge. It's actually a Rock Blast. I was scared it was gonna be a Wild Charge because that can do a lot of damage even if it's resisted. So I feint that down with just Frenzy Plant. Just Vine Whip, and then she brings out Vigoroth, which I am okay with, but I'm going to shield the Body Slam. But I'm okay with, I didn't want another Body Slam to come out, so I used Frenzy Plant just to finish it off, because I want to be able to have that switch advantage and have my Venusaur be alive to get a little bit more damage off on this next Pokemon. So I'm able to get a Frenzy Plant off on this Beedrill, and then I don't want Beedrill farming my Venusaur for any energy. Not like it's going to be able to do much to Fortress anyway, but I wanted it to still not have that advantage. And so she keeps going for Sludge Bomb. I would have rather have gone with X-Scissor, I believe. This is the correct play because it's not going to be doubly resisted by steel types, and so we were able to finish that off with a Heavy Slam. Really great team composition from us there, and so there wasn't a whole lot indifferent there, in my opinion, just like a lot of team composition from both sides. So I just decided, hey, that's the last team, worked really well, let's go in with this other team, this same team one more time. So we lead off with Vigoroth, and it's a mirror lead. Once again, not surprising since Vigoroth is a very dominant force in the Jungle Cup and the best lead according to PvPoke. And I think I might have to agree with that most of the time into most teams. And so we decide to shield this next attack, just so we can get off that last Body Slam or 2 before we go down. And this will burn the second shield, so now we're up 1 shield. I decided not to shield here because honestly she should have fainted me down with counters, but the fact that I was able to drain all that energy is very good for me. I decided to take a Brick Break because it's not going to do much to me. A Body Slam would have done much more, but Brick Break is resisted. So then Golem comes in. Looks like we both use very similar teams. If she has Beedrill, then she has the exact same team again. One Frenzy Plant to the face is enough to take out Golem. And here's Beedrill one more time. I decide to try a Sludge Bomb. I'm not 100% sure which one's better into Beedrill with Venusaur. It looks like it might be Sludge Bomb, but I'm not sure how the DPE works with that. I'll have to study that for my next cup, but a Sludge Bomb does take me out, but I have Fortress, and Beedrill's not going to be able to do much to Fortress since everything is resisted. My Bug Bites are resisted because it is a poison. Beedrill is part poison, but I can get off Heavy Slam and deal some neutral stab damage, and there we go. We picked up our first win. So, GG's to Cloud Striker 17. Alright, so we are going to get started into our match versus Slade Wilson. And sorry for the beginning of the video being cut off there. But we start off with a terrible lead with Beedrill into Fortress, and so we switch out to our Vigoroth, who switches off into a shiny Vigoroth. But since we have that energy lead, since we were able to gain some energy off of using counters onto Vigoroth, we were able to get to our charge moves first. And so we use our Body Slam. It gets shielded. He uses a Body Slam. We use shield. We use a second Body Slam. And then we're able to finish off with just counters, and I'm able to hit whatever's coming in next with another Body Slam. And I assume... Okay, it's Venusaur, so I was going to assume that it would be Fortress since it could take it pretty easily. But with that steel typing... And so Venusaur takes us out, but not before getting down to the yellow. So I can go either way here because either play is going to do some work against Venusaur. So I decide to go Fortress. Looking back on that, that probably wasn't the best idea because I should have saved my Fortress for the mirror, since my Fortress is going to do better versus a Beedrill. Well, compared to Beedrill versus another Fortress. But luckily we take out that Venusaur pretty quickly, and we have similar health to this Fortress, and so he gets off a Heavy Slam. We have enough energy that we farmed from Venusaur to get off an Earthquake, but that is shielded. I shouldn't have used Earthquake right then. I should have used a Body Slam and then come back on Earthquake, and I think I told him that right in the middle of the match. It's weird, whenever I get people watching me, I just start commentating everything, and people wanted to watch this match pretty badly, so, if I remember right. And so, he gets off an Earthquake, because I don't have any shields left. That's what I should have done. But the Fortress is so low in health that we are able to take it out with one X-Scissor, and if not, yes, one X-Scissor, okay. So... that's not round one. Yeah, round one. Match one of round one. I get all those terms mixed up, you know what I mean. For some reason, the video isn't doing 100% right now, but we're going to start off with a double Vigoroth lead. I am okay with that. But he does get to the charge move first. I don't believe I was clicking on the tapping on the charge move. So that was not necessarily a charge move priority. I just wanted to wait and see maybe like the first round where my opponent would just get off Brick Break instead of Body Slam. But instead it is a Body Slam. I decide to take the next Body Slam to preserve my second shield so that I don't get completely walled later on. I decide to come in with Beedrill because Beedrill tanks those counters like a champ. Resists it twice with its bug and poison typing. And then I need to shield the Body Slam though. It's tougher to play Beedrill in the back. And it's absolutely terrible as a closer. Because it needs those shields since it's so frail. But it can dish out all sorts of hits, except when you're going up against counter, then it's not very frail. but it needs to shield the body slams. So I decide, hey, let's just spam a bunch of X Scissor. My Venusaur isn't going to do a lot against Fortress, and really I needed, out of this team comp, I needed my Vigoroth to deal with Fortress. So really I should have switched out into something else that could have better handled Vigoroth. And that would explain a lot why he was so willing to keep in his Vigoroth, is because he wanted to keep my Vigoroth down. And so I have to take this Heavy Slam because we are out of shields. So then we go to Venusaur, and this Heavy Slam is going to do a fair chunk of damage for just being neutral. And so we get off a Frenzy Plant, which should take out Fortress, and it does. And then the last Pokemon is Lantern, which we can take if we had more energy. So we're able to hit this Frenzy Plant, but the battle was so close. If we had switched out earlier with Lantern, not Lantern, with Vigoroth, if we had switched Vigoroth out earlier, that could have been round 2 right there. So for this next one, I'm going to look through my team right now. You can get a good overview of my team. I know it's on the text right now. I have not added that in as of the time of this voice recording. But I decide to pick that team, and we're going to go into match 3 against Slade Wilson. Alright, so here we are. We decide to lead. He decides to lead Masquerain, and we have Vigoroth. I wasn't super familiar against Masquerain, because I didn't think I'd see it very much, but I switch into Graveler, and Graveler absolutely destroys Masquerain. It's only 1 time super effective, but that's still enough for Graveler, because those rock throws hurt so much. And so Rock Blast is going to be shielded, unfortunately, but we are going to resist these body slams so we can preserve our shield. But we are taken out by counter because counter still hurts like a truck. So I decide to go in Venusaur. So we start off Venusaur here, and we shield here to shield this body slam. And then I get off a... no, they get off another body slam first. He gets off a body slam first before I can get to that Frenzy Plant. And I was going to try to take it down, but I was just hoping that he would shield his Vigoroth here so that he can take out my Venusaur. And then I should have done that Frenzy Plant there to take it out, because Body Slam is charged so quickly, and that would have fainted my Vigoroth, my Venusaur. And then I could have had that extra shield for my Vigoroth in the back, but instead we're going to get Fortress out here, which is not going to do much damage, but I do have 2 Frenzy Plants saved up, which is going to do more than I'd think it would, being resisted twice. But then we come in with our Vigoroth, and I have to Body Slam to be able to finish this off, but the charge move comes out, and it's an Earthquake, and that is basically going to be the end after 1 or 2 more Bug Bites. So that was our first loss of the tournament against Slade Wilson. Very good. Right, so now we're going to jump into our 3rd match against Alvarado BR. So we start off with a terrible matchup. Those counters from Heracross are going to absolutely destroy our Vigoroth, so I switch into Fortress, which isn't as good as Noctowl would be, but it's still pretty good. I actually do not run Noctowl on this team. And so I get off some damage, burn a shield with Heavy Slam. It brings out Porygon. I learned later on in the match, in this round, that Porygon is actually Hidden Power Fire. And it looks like it's electric to me, at least. Like, that looks a lot like electric, but it absolutely destroys my team. Except for Vigoroth. And that's what I decided to come in with here, because I can get super effective damage off with those counters. And we almost have a switch clock ready to go anyway. There it is. It brings in Heracross. We get off a Body Slam, and then I believe I tried to switch here. And that gets blocked. But then we can come in with Venusaur. Take a Mega Horn to the face here, which I should have shielded. And yeah, that hurt. I also should have gone for... Actually, no, I hit Frenzy Plant, so we're good here. So the Frenzy Plant, Sludge Bomb, I mean, is going to be able to take that out. And then the last Pokemon is Torterra. And so my Vigoroth is going to have to handle this Torterra, but Torterra has so much health, and Razor Leaf does so much damage. Razor Leaf is an incredible move that not even Body Slam can take that out. And I could have got to another Body Slam, but I did not have a ton of HP remaining. So that's round one. Let's jump into... Alright, round two is here. We're going to start off with Lantern this time. And we're going to go against Caesar, which is a good matchup for us. Is type moves, which looks like it's going to use Fury Cutter here, are going to do neutral damage, but we are incredibly bulky. And if this happens to be an Iron Head, we don't need to shield. It looks like an X-Scissor, my bad. But an Iron Head would be resisted at least once. And so we get off a Thunderbolt, which is shielded, of course. I decided to shield this one because that would have taken me out, or allowed him to take me out with Fury Cutter at least. And then I try to feint with just Water Guns, but he gets to another Fury Cutter. X-Scissor, I mean. Goodness. And so I'm able to get off a couple more Water Guns before feinting and finish that off. So I really could have gone either way here, but Vigoroth was the play, since that's going to be better to use my shields on. Heracross comes in though, and I quickly switch to Venusaur, so then I can start charging up to that Sludge Bomb. I did shield this time because I knew it was going to be Mega Horn. I didn't want to make the same mistake as last round. And then it gets a switch off into Porygon. I decided to hit a Frenzy Plant because these Hidden Power Fires are going to hurt. And then that is shielded, and I'm going to hit another Frenzy Plant, and this should either take it out or be really close to fainting. And it faints right there after one more Vine Whip. Next we have Heracross, and I decided to go Frenzy Plant. I could have made that Sludge Bomb, but I decided to go Frenzy Plant instead. Either way, it gets it down extremely low, and I have a mostly full health Vigoroth that can come in here, and I use Body Slam just in case it has enough energy for a close combat. I believe Mega Horn could have taken me out there as well, but either way, GG's there. So now we move on to the tiebreaker match. Here we are, round 3 against Alado BR. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Torterra, terrible matchup for us. So I'm going to switch out into Vigoroth as soon as possible. Razor Leaf still does an incredible amount of damage here very quickly. And so I'm going to use Body Slam. It's going to be shielded, and then he switches out into Heracross, which is bad news for me, but I'm able to get off another Body Slam from farming energy from Torterra. and that's going to take out most of its health because it's not shielded. So we're each down to 1 shield. He's up 1 Pokemon. I decide to come in with Lantern so I can save my Venusaur for Torterra. And I don't know what his third Pokemon is at this time, so it's tough for me to decide. I block Mega Horn, so I'm down to 1 shield. I said I had 1 shield earlier, but it looks like I had 2 then. So Torterra comes in, obviously, and I decide to go for a Hydro Pump when Thunderbolt was the play there. That should have been what I went with. Just to get off a little bit more damage, and maybe Beta Shield? I would have been very surprised if that was shielded, though, that Thunderbolt was shielded. I decide to feint down with just Vine Whips because it knows, Torterra knows some very high energy moves. And so next we have this Porygon. So I get off Frenzy Plant, which is shielded. I have enough energy for a second Frenzy Plant. And with barely enough HP within the red, I am able to go ahead and barely take out this Porygon. That was so close. That was so close in the match. Extremely close. So thank you to Aluado BR there. So GG's there. Round 3. Let's get to round 4. Right, now we're going to get into the 4th round versus Gym Jet 11. So our first lineup here is going to be pretty good against Vigoroth versus Raichu with the cool hat. And we're going to shield this Brick Break and then get to the Body Slam, which is also going to be shielded. Then we're just going to be doing more damage with our counter than it is with its fast move. I'm going to use my shield again, hoping that he will also use his shield against this Body Slam. So then, and he does. So we're both down 2 shields, and as long as I can survive this Brick Break here, then I can feint Raichu with just counters, and looks like I survive it. So I feint Raichu with just counters, and I'm able to hit the next Pokemon coming in with a Body Slam, which is Victory Bell, which would have been a bad matchup for me anyway, since its poison typing resists my counters. So I come in with Fortress, which is going to do some work. Going to be much better than Alolan Graveler in that situation. And now both of my Pokemon are weak to Vigoroth that I have here, but I have all sorts of energy charged up, and he does not have any shields for his Vigoroth, and decides to use Body Slam. Brick Break is not the best second charge move you want to go with for Vigoroth, so can't really blame that there. But Body Slam is still doing a decent amount for being resisted. But I'm able to get off that heavy slam and finish off Vigoroth. And then with the last little bit of energy on my Fortress, take down Victory Bell. And then you can see how much those Razor Leafs were doing to Alolan Graveler. But Alolan Graveler was still able to take that out. So GG's there. Now let's head to the second round. Alright, so we are here in the second round. I'm not 100% sure how this matchup is going to go up. It looks like it's using wing attacks, so that should, in theory, be not great for me, but we are doing about the same amount of damage. I do shield here because it is Ancient Power. It does not get the buff, but I decided to switch to Alolan Graveler because Rock Throw is going to be doubly effective. It'll be super effective against both Bug and Flying. So we just have to get off as many Rock Blasts as possible against this Victory Bell. before it inevitably takes us out with Razor Leaf. So I decided to go in with our Golden Fortress and just try to take out this shield with Heavy Slam. And then it's going to use, I believe, Leaf Blade. I was scared it was going to use Acid Spray, because Acid Spray could have potentially allowed Vigoroth to absolutely wipe the floor with me. But I'm able to, because that was a Leaf Blade, I was able to get to Earthquake and was able to almost take out Vigoroth here. I decided not to shield. I have barely any energy anyway. Well, barely any health anyway. And now Vigoroth has no energy for my own Vigoroth to come in. And normally it's a bad matchup to go against Victory Bell, but I do have one more shield and a huge head start on HP remaining. So that's going to be GG there. Round 4 against Jimjet 11. Thank you so much for that battle. Now let's get to round 5. Alright, so this is match 2 against Jack of Hearts. I was eating a pulled pork sandwich and I forgot to hit record, but it was extremely close. So we are heading into round 2, and I can't remember who won the first round, but the second round, whoever won the first round lost the second round because we had to go into a third round. So I do shield that Poison Fang and decide to switch out because those counters are going to be doing all sorts of damage to my Beedrill, it being a poison type. But we were able to go for and charge up. And it does use Silver Wind, and I decided to go with Heavy Slam because that Silver Wind scared me a little bit. It did a lot more damage than I thought it would have. And I thought I could just feint down Venomoth with counters, since we did resist Confusion with our Steel type. Then he brings in Vigoroth. This Body Slam should take me out or put me between one counter away. But after one counter, actually, I'm able to hit Heavy Slam. So I was 2 from fainting. My next play is Beedrill, because Beedrill tanks counters like a champ and can hit X-Scissor all day. Unless I get hit by a Body Slam, in which case I need to shield. So I use my last shield here and quickly charge up X-Scissor here, which baits that shield. No, I still have one more shield left. So we have Lantern here, which is going to be doing a lot more damage to me with a neutral water gun. I get off this X-Scissor and then switch with a small amount of health on my Beedrill left into Vigoroth. I go ahead and shield this. It's a Thunder, which is interesting. I've run Lantern in so many different Silver Arena Cups now, and I think I only used Thunder the first time I ever used it, and that's because I ran out of charge TMs. So I prefer Thunderbolt, but Thunder is still a viable option. And my Body Slam plus a few counters are able to take that out. So I did lose the first round, it looks like. But the second round, I came back and took that win. Now we're going to head on to the third match against Jack of Hearts. I'm going to start off by leading Beedrill one more time. It had really good, it was really good into his team. And that's evident by the fact that Vigoroth is up now. Comes in with Fortress, which walls Beedrill. I can't do much against Beedrill, so I decided to switch into my own Vigoroth. And I am going to shield this heavy slam first. And then I'm going to get some more energy off of it, farm it, and then body slam, which baits a shield. And then I decide to bring it within so that it body slam would barely take it out, and then use body slam one more time so that to make sure that I don't get hit with another charge move from Fortress. So I'm able to hit the opposing Vigoroth with a body slam as soon as I jump in. As soon as it jumps in, my bad. But it is shielded. I decide not to shield because I'm at such a low health anyway, and I don't want this Vigoroth farming my A for energy with counter. So I come in with Beedrill because I want to save my Venusaur for a possible Lantern, and it is Lantern there, so I know that if I can pull this off right, then I'm golden. So then I switch into Venusaur. Venusaur is able to do lots of damage with Vine Whip, get that super effective damage off. I decide to shield so that I can shield Beedrill later from Vigoroth's body slams. So I go get off of Frenzy Plant here. Frenzy Plant takes out Lantern, and then Vigoroth. And before this match, I'll explain that after this. Off this Frenzy Plant, and that is good game for the final round of the tournament. GG's to Jack of Hearts. There's like 3 S's, so I have to announce it at that. So that was the Rexburg Jungle Buck tournament. I went 4-1, won 4 and lost 1 in this tournament, and we had 6 people tie for first place, not counting the Buckles tiebreaker points. And because all 6 of us got 4 wins, so the match for number 1 was the last match against Jack of Hearts. And if you look at the Buckles score tiebreaker, I took first place with 16 points, Jack of Hearts took second place with 15 points, and CB Forever took third place with 14 points. I got to battle every single person in the 6-way tie besides CB and Bubba Jones, but I got to battle the other 3. So I was super glad to be able to go to this tournament, and so thank you so much to Rexburg for hosting and for inviting me to this. And so don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more content. I have one more Jungle Cup tournament video coming out this month, and more Pokemon Go PvP content in the future, as well as music content and content just of all sorts of stuff that you should like, I guess. And if you don't like it, then I don't know, just watch the videos you do like. But thank you so much again for watching this video, so I will see you in the next one. Bye!